Thank you, folks. Thanks for coming out tonight. Oh man, I don't know if I'm at Home Depot or Star Wars. This is a schizophrenic stage here. I appreciate you coming out. I can already sense your disappointment. You probably figured I'm coming out, I'm braving the Delta variant. I'd like to see a hip young comic. Instead, when I get in front of the young audience, they say, oh Christ, there's my dad's lab partner from high school. I mean, look at me. I'm like a genetic mashup of Mitt Romney and Keith Richards. I have a decrepit body under here. At least I had the decency to put a suit over it. Some of you men may recognize me, some of you guys may recognize me because they used my picture in the AARP brochure to remind guys to get their prostates checked. When I'm with the younger people, I feel so out of place. I think some of you are more like me, but when I'm with the younger people, they're on their iPads, they're on their cell phones. I'm on Medicare. You too? You don't look it, ma'am. Thank you. You have a special occasion tonight? Nope. I'm glad to have you out. Just to get out of the house, right? And is this gentleman your husband? Yeah. Let me ask you something. Have you had a little bit too much togetherness in the last few months, in the last year with all this? In fact, I want to ask everybody here, by a show of hands, how many people have threatened the life of somebody they live with in the last year? Oh yeah, that was real fast. I'm kind of like in your ballpark, ma'am. My wife and I, oh yeah, we've had some tough times in this past year. Yeah, I mean, one time I just said, I've had it, I'm getting out of here. And she said, you promised me till death do us part. And I said, well, I may exercise the death clause in that contract, let me tell you. But if you're like me, what's your name, ma'am? Valley. Valley, there's some things you can do to spice up your relationship at this point. Like, there's a game my wife and I play. I'm the Domino's delivery guy, and she pretends she doesn't have enough money to pay for the bill. And I show up and I say, well, Mrs. Rocchi, this pizza's not going to pay for itself. And she goes, oh, Mr. Domino's, man, I'm hot and salty like your pizza. So, hey, this is a big dream of mine. Come to Jersey and be an Italian-American, play for a guy named Joe Salami. Yeah. And thank you. Yeah. So, where do you folks shop here? It looks like pretty much a resort town. For instance, where are the groceries? I know you have like something called a Lucky 7. What is it? Wegmans. Oh yeah, Wegmans. Okay, that's pretty safe. I noticed on the web that you're about 6 miles. You're quite a distance from the latest Whole Foods. Whereas I call it, holy mackerel! Do you see how much that costs? Right, but I bought an avocado there recently, and it's on layaway until the home equity loan comes through. Oh, they can be so pretentious there, I've found. This lady has me, she's using all these hipster terms, all these up-to-date terms. She says, look at this is farm to table. It's ethically grown, ethically produced, free range. We're in the bakery section looking at the donuts. And when I was there, I noticed a sign on the wall. They were advertising salad kits. When did salads become so difficult that we have to order kits for them? Years ago, Sears used to have kits to build houses. Now we sell people kits to make salads. Welcome to the dumbing down of America, folks. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, somebody pointed out that years ago, the owner's manual would tell people how to reset their points in their car. Yeah, right. Now they tell you who to call. to come out and get you. Another thing they try to sell in the supermarket, they have these little frying pans that are about this big, and they say, oh, it's good for 1 egg. Yeah, you know what else is good for 1 egg? A regular frying pan. You could do 1 egg in a regular frying pan. What do we need a special one for? Yeah. I noticed you have a Costco close to here. Val, do you like Costco?
Once a week I'm in there.
Oh man, I like Costco. I like a place where you can get the vinyl siding, mortgage insurance, and tartar sauce all under one roof. And while we're talking about Costco, let's talk about his dirty-minded little brother, BJ's. Ladies and gentlemen, I have an MBA in marketing. Can you tell me who thought it was a good idea to name a store after fellatio? Honest to God, I was in a company once, and this is a true story. BJ's was coming in to offer free memberships. An email went out that said BJ's for free in the cafeteria. Yeah, half the men left the factory before they pulled that email. I saw the menu here. The menu looks good. I hope you're enjoying it here. I hope that you don't have to resort to an Olive Garden. There are no Olive Gardens in Asbury Park, are there? No, thank God. As an Italian American, I really find Olive Garden offensive. It's a really poor excuse for an Italian restaurant. I'll put it to you this way. Eating at Olive Garden and thinking you've eaten Italian is like eating Lucky Charms and thinking you celebrated St. Patty's Day. Their motto there is, when you're here, you're family. And it's true. I was there and a woman came out of the kitchen and started yelling at me, eat your vegetables, and why don't you call more often? When are you going to make me a grandmother? A guy with a wife beater and a Fred Flintstone's 5 o'clock shadow sat next to me, asked if I could pay his bill. Yeah, sounds like family to me. So, oh God, you know, I'm looking at the date. You're lucky you live in a resort town. You have an end of summer here, but summer's almost over. It's August 17th. Pretty soon it's going to be Labor Day, the end of summer, and then all the fall holidays are going to come through, and we're going to go through them very quickly like we did last year. Time flies when you're having no fun at all. Yeah, you got September, and then you get into October. Halloween comes. How many people actually had any kids come to their house for Halloween this year? No, right? I had one kid come, and he had a throwback costume. He had a rubber mask. He came as Bill Clinton. Yeah, I asked him, that's a good costume. What kind of candy do you want? He didn't want any candy, but he did ask for my wife's phone number. So, and then after that will be Veterans Day. While we brought up veterans, do we have any veterans here in the audience? Any veterans here? Sir, what branch of service were you? Army. Army, what period? Excuse me? 69. Thank you. That's the era that I would have, if I had served. I'm in that same era, but the draft board didn't take me. They classified me as 1S. No, that's an odd one. Yeah, they didn't take me because I'm a sissy. The guy examined me and said, we can't take this man. He's definitely a sissy. Look at him. He can't march. He prances everywhere. And can we stop with the pumpkin spice stuff every fall that comes out, that they advertise? Pumpkin spice hair coloring from Hair Cuttery, pumpkin spice Cheerios, pumpkin spice making Jamaican salsa. I went to the hospital. They offered me a pumpkin spice colonoscopy. Flavor of the month. And then you get into November and you have Thanksgiving, and you know what that means. Yes, it means Christmas music. Yeah, they start the Christmas music in Thanksgiving. And it's such high quality music too. Nothing speaks to me about the birth of the Savior, the baby Jesus, as I want a hippopotamus for Christmas. As I'm getting older, you know, I'm noticing we have very few things entertain us during this pandemic, and we're watching a lot of television, and I hate seeing a young world on television. I have a question to ask all of you here, particularly the guys. When did ED become entertainment? You would think that it is during the commercials for that. First of all, they start with this phony, happy music. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. And they show a wife doing things that are supposed to show how cute she is, but they would be grounds for justifiable homicide in real life. They have her taking food from the guy's plate. They have her trying to put a shoe on and going across the floor with that. They should have her painting and getting paint on her nose, and that's so cute. And they have her cooking and baking, and she gets flour on her nose. Apparently the people who write these commercials think that something on a woman's nose is an aphrodisiac. Like the guy's gonna say, oh honey, something in your nose, I'm ready. Look, this is a generational thing for me. When I was growing up, if I saw the letters ED on television, that meant Mr. Ed was coming on. Thank you for laughing at that joke. My wife keeps telling me I shouldn't do that joke because people aren't going to know about it. And then invariably, I get some pimply-faced kid in the front row, oh, I don't know who Mr. Ed is, Mr. Rocchi, and I have to explain he was a talking horse. You know, he sounded like a gay Johnny Cash, you know, oh, Wilbur, ride me, you know. And somebody would ask, you know, how could he talk? And there were all kinds of questions in those days that were never answered by television. How could Mr. Ed talk? How could Clark Kent put on a pair of glasses and people don't know he's Superman? Really? How did Joey Bishop have a career? Things like that. So they had the guy off to the side looking at these wives doing these obnoxious things, and he's looking at her lovingly, and he's thinking, I know what he's really thinking. He's thinking, oh honey, you think that I can't perform for you because of my health, but the real reason I can't get it up is because you're so annoying. And look at the guys in these commercials. They're buff, tastefully trim, a little touch of gray on the side. Those aren't the guys who get ED, these Adonises. Show me a guy like Chris Christie, your old governor. A guy who's so fat, he hasn't even seen his own penis for the last 5 years. And by the way, since I'm in Jersey, I want to ask you about Chris Christie. He got his official portrait done. And I understand it cost as much as the 3 previous governors put together. Could it be because he's as big as the last 3 governors put together? Can you imagine what it was like doing that one? Okay, we're going to paint the governor now. Get that circus tent in here. Well, I don't know. I don't know. You've been married how long?
44 years.
44 years. Let's hear it for them, folks. I'm almost up to you. I'm surprised. I very rarely get people married that long. This past February, I was married 42 years. And yeah, no, don't applaud. Don't applaud. It's not that great. Yeah, really, it really isn't. You know, it's like, my wife's okay, but you know, it's like the vows I took where you love, honor, and annoy this woman. Everything I do seems to bother her. One day she said to me, is that skin tag on your nose bothering you? I said, well, no, actually it's not. She said, well, it's bothering me, take care of it. So now the stupid thing is, I have to go to the doctor because something on my nose is bothering her. Doctor looks at me, he says, I have one of those. He said, you have a skin tag on you? I said to him, you have a skin tag on your nose? He said, no, I have an annoying wife too. And she's been really tough during this pandemic. She said, wear your mask. wear your mask. You know, I don't want this virus to kill you. That's my job. And she cares so much about my health, and I don't care at all. She says to me, she says, you should treat your body like a temple. You know, I'd rather treat it like a bodega and fill it with empanadas and Little Debbie cookies. One thing she's on my back about eating healthy is eating kale. Oh, I heard a groan over there. Is there kale on the menu? Oh, thank God, because if you look in the food pyramid, kale is pretty much in the weeds category. I'll tell you this, it's a very versatile food. You can do a lot of things with it. You can make a salad, you can put it in a burger. People make chips out of it. They make smoothies about it, with it. And no matter how you use it, it tastes like crap. Now we were in Panera's, perfectly nice restaurant with good, healthy foods. Good foods like panini and salads, right ma'am? Are you a Panera's fan? Oh, you're nodding a lot. I hope everything's okay over there. Okay. Well, you could chew at Panera's. They have great food there. They have those salads. They have panini. And by the way, Panera's is adding pizza to their menu because, you know, the doctor says you may not be getting enough carbs in your diet. So she said, go over there and get a kale smoothie. It'll be easy. Nobody's in line there. I said, of course nobody's in line. Nobody's here to eat kale. They're here to have fun food. So I went over, and they were out of kale, and so I got the next best thing. I got a cinnamon bun. And since we're talking about my family, let me tell you about my kids. My name is Rocchi, and after a few years of marriage, we had our kids Rocchi 2 and Rocchi 3. And let me tell you something, kids will turn on you. I have a son who really awful to me when he was growing up. He said one day, when did you stop being cool? I said, September 25th. He said, that's my birthday. I said, yeah, that's when I stopped being cool and I had to start taking care of your sorry ass. I took him to Sears, not for a kit for a house, but for a lawnmower. I said, pick the lawnmower you like. He said, why do you expect me to mow the lawn? I said, why do you think I even had you? And if I'm talking about my family, I like to talk about the other lady in my life, my mom. Yep, let's hear from moms. Yeah, my mom, I mean, if I'm on Social Security and Medicare, you can imagine how old she is. Yeah, she's at 90, some of the neurons have retired. You know, she's the worst rider with me in the front seat. You know, she gives me the worst directions. We're driving along, and she says, look, dear, the bridge ices before the road. I said, Mom, we're going to a 4th of July picnic. Tell me when we're going to the Pollyanna. Or there's the time that we were going to, we wanted to go to a Japanese restaurant. She made the reservations, and then she forgot where the restaurant was. So we're driving around looking for this restaurant that she made the reservations at. And she said, that looks like a place where we could get sushi, dear. I said, Mom, you're close. It's Japanese, but it's a Suzuki dealership. You can't get sushi there. And somebody thought it was a great idea for her to be on social media. So she gets all the names wrong. You know, I don't mind when she says she's on Bookface. That's harmless. I was on Bookface. You see my Bookface today? My Bookface was funny. Twitter, that's more questionable. She calls it Twitter. I was on my Twitter today. Yeah. But I drew the line when she started bragging about being on Snatch Trap. I said, Mom, please don't repeat that outside the house. It's Snapchat. People will think it's a website for predators. But let me tell you something about all of our moms, and my mom in particular. They may be old, but they were tough in their day. In my day, my mother pushed 6 of us out of her body, cleaned our little baby rear ends, clothed us, fed us. You know what she did without? She did without a gender reveal party. She didn't need one of those. There are forest fires, yeah. There are forest fires going on in California because of gender reveal parties. You know where their gender reveal party was? In the delivery room when we came out. Hey, look, it's a vagina, a girl, and we have a wedding to pay for in 20 years. So, look, you know, a lot of you people are in the same rank that I am. I think you probably agree. It's not that bad. It's really not that bad getting old. I've been making the most of it. There's ways to save money. You know, I canceled all my magazine subscriptions. I go to the doctor so often, I just read the magazines there. And I'll tell you one thing about, I want to leave you with this thought about getting older. I think you probably would share this with me. I marked the years of my marriage and my sex life with movie franchises. Now, when we first started out, it was the Fast and the Furious. Get in there just a little bit too quickly. But then, as a man matures, he becomes his best. He's Iron Man. At this stage of my life after 42 years, it's Mission Impossible. So thanks a lot, folks. I appreciate your time tonight.